What makes you think you can trust me?
I don't.
So what is up, guys? It is Nistro here today, and I want to talk to you guys about Prohibition. So it's a card that I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with. It's a real old card, but just in case you're a new head or don't know the card I'm talking about, it's a continuous spell card where you activate it by declaring one card name. And so what happens is that cards with the same name as the name you declared and their effects cannot be used. So that means they can't be summoned. They can't be set on the field. In the case of, well, I don't know if they can be set. That's actually something, that's a ruling that will probably be discussed elsewhere. But cards already on the field that you, so let's say I say, something like Masterpiece, right? the True Draco Slayer, right? So I call it. If there's a Masterpiece already on the field, then that Masterpiece gets to keep its effects. But obviously, if he were to summon out, well, he won't be able to summon out another one because he can't, because of Prohibition. Prohibition would stop him from summoning out anymore. So if that copy of that card you called would leave the field, it can't come back. Because, or if it comes back, like if it's a monster that can change its name into becoming the card name that you called, although you would still be able to summon it, it would you wouldn't be able to use its effects on the field because its name would count as, the card that you called. So in the upcoming format, spirals are going to be a real big deal, and so Prohibition is a card that you activate by declaring one card name. So the one that you would call in Spiral, most people would think it would be Quick Fix because, you stop them from summoning, 30 times a turn and, you can probably do some damage. But the real card you would want to call is a Spiral Super Agent because Double Helix himself also counts as a Spiral Super Agent while he's on the field. So what's going to happen here is that if you call Super Agent, okay, so they immediately... unless there's already a Double Helix or Super Agent on the field, which, even if there is, their effects, Super Agent doesn't really do anything on the field, and Double Helix, that one you'd probably want to get rid of because, that thing still has a pretty broken effect on board. But, once you get rid of it, they can't summon out another Spiral Super Agent again. And also, if they were to summon another Double Helix, because, it doesn't count as Super Agent until it hits the field, Super Agent would also not be able to activate its... I said Super Agent. Double Helix would not be able to activate its effect. So Prohibition is just in this weird spot where it's like, okay, I can stop one card, and although against Spirals, it technically stops two. It stops... And I know... quite a few number of people don't actually play Spell and Trap card Destruction other than Super Agent in the main deck. So, game one, if you hit them with the Prohibition, it actually might come as a surprise. But at the same time, Prohibition is something that, to get that kind of surprise factor on them, you're probably going to have to main deck it. If you're playing a deck that plays quite a bit of back row, or even like cards that can be, a lot of trap cards that can be hindering to your opponent, they're probably going to side in that back row destruction anyway. So it's going to be real hard for you to like push in this Prohibition and like not get punished for it because all of a sudden your opponent's siding in their Twin Twisters and their Cosmic Cyclones. Either or. Some people use... I even saw some people use MST still, in that in those OCG builds, but for the most part, Prohibition is just an okay card because it's real easy to target, real easy to get rid of. Tornado Dragon's still a thing. And maybe in a combo deck like Spirals, they may not have the right card to get rid of Prohibition once it's already set up, because if you call in Super Agent, they wouldn't be able to use Super Agent's effect, and then they wouldn't be able to use Double Helix effect, so, you would hinder them down a lot. But at the same time, they're still going to be able to spam the board, and, it's like you would have to have multiple Prohibitions on board to actually, stop Spirals in general. So, honestly, I think it's just okay. They actually do still have a utility wire, so if they get their double helix on board, and then they quick fix searches and utility wire, they can just put this Prohibition back to the top of your deck once it becomes your turn. So it'll be something that would kind of be not very useful after that, or it'll be hard to maintain on the field. Like, it'll be hard to maintain its presence. If you're playing Prohibition, you're playing it in the idea that, okay, maybe for like one turn, I can try to, push past my opponent, try to break their board down, maybe low, and like make it so my board is unbreakable for them next turn. That's probably the best you can do. But if you mix Prohibition with like a Droll and Lockbird, I think that would be a real solid way to stop spirals in their tracks. But I think Prohibition in itself is just okay and not too solid, but just weird. So that's really all I have to say on it. What do you guys think about Prohibition, honestly? And tell me down below. This was Nistro here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.
Light up the world with a little more truth. I gotta cover my world.